Hello and warm welcome to join us for this edition of AN in English News, and I'm Abdul Ahad Mohammadi. Attorney General Office has prevented Afghannews network owner and president from traveling abroad. A reliable source has called him by telephone without giving his name said. The source said that a memo sent to Kabul Airport's border police headquarters is signed by Mohammad Ishaq Al-Ko, the Attorney General, directs the border police to prevent Ahmad Shah Afghanzai from traveling abroad until next notification. Mr. Afghanzai said he has been surprised from hearing the news and did not know the reason of his travel ban. Meanwhile, the Attorney General Office could not be available for comment on the issue. The U.S. intelligence community says in a secret new assessment that the war in Afghanistan is mired in stalemate and warns that security gains from an increase in American troops have been undercut by pervasive corruption, incompetent governance, and Taliban fighters operating from neighboring Pakistan, the Los Angeles Times reported. The sobering judgments in a classified national intelligence estimate appear at odds with recent optimistic statements about the war by Pentagon officials. Military and Pentagon officials argued that assumptions used by intelligence agencies were flawed. The Obama administration is launching a fresh round of shuttle diplomacy with an immediate goal of sealing agreement for Taliban insurgents to open a political office in Qatar. Mark Grossman, Obama's special representative for Afghanistan and Pakistan, begins a diplomatic blitz this weekend that includes talks with President Hamid Karzai and top officials in Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. In Kabul, Grossman will seek approval from Karzai to move ahead with a series of good faith measures seen as an essential precursor to negotiations that could give the Taliban a shared role in governing Afghanistan, reports say. Any efforts to talk peace with Taliban has to be led by the Afghans. NATO's senior civilian representative to Afghanistan, Simon Gass, said during an interview with NATO TV on Thursday. He says certain principles need to be delivered as part of the peace process, such as respect for the Afghan constitution and respect for women's rights. Mr. Gass set out the key priorities for 2012 and spoke about the increasing capacity of the Afghan security forces. His comments came as Taliban has announced its interest to talk peace with the United States to end the decade-long war in Afghanistan.
One requirement which has been made very clear by the government of Afghanistan, but also by key international partners like the United States, is that this has to be an Afghan-led process. And I'm confident that it will be an Afghan-led process because, frankly, a peace process which was led by foreigners, whoever they might be, would simply not deliver the sort of peace which Afghanistan needs. It has to be Afghan to Afghan. The second point which is really important is that the government of Afghanistan has set out certain principles which have to be delivered as part of a peace process, and they include critically issues like respect for the Constitution, which includes respect for women's rights. Now, those are absolutely non-negotiable principles which we support.
More than 4 million children are not allowed from going to school in Afghanistan despite 10 years of international community struggle to pave the way for education in the war-torn country, the Ministry of Education said. Meanwhile, Japan has signed a contract to pay $25 million for constructing school buildings in 3 northern provinces, namely Daikondi, Bamyan, and Gore. The international community has given more help to Afghanistan's education sector, but according to critics, these assistance could not relieve the problem due to existence of corruption in the sector. President Hamid Karzai pledged on Wednesday to take action against the perpetrators of violence against women in the wake of a horrific case of the torture of a child bride. The president made the comment after a visit by a delegation from the Afghan Women's Network over Sahar Goal 15, who was burned and beaten and had her fingernails pulled out after she defied efforts to force her into prostitution. Violence against women in different form is rising as the government, like in many other fields, has failed to prevent such negative phenomenon in the country. Parliamentary leaders from around the Asia-Pacific region and also Mexico gathered in Tokyo on Thursday as they wrapped up the 20th annual meeting of Asia-Pacific Parliamentary Forum. At the summit, 329 delegates from 20 countries discussed various international issues, economic and security cooperation. Nuclear safety was top of the agenda for the first time since the forum was formed in 1993, reflecting the member countries' keen attention to the issue after the nuclear crisis in Fukushima, triggered by the March earthquake and tsunami disasters. Hundreds of Syrian activists tried to cross into Syria from Turkey on Thursday to demand an end to 10 months of conflict and take humanitarian aid to the people there. Preparations were underway for Freedom Convoy early on Thursday as dozens of activists stepped into buses and headed to airport to meet their friends. Organizers said the convoy would try to break the silence. This convoy has no political affiliations whatsoever. We are just trying to break the silence and going to visit Syria to distribute medical supplies, an organizer said. And that's all for now. Thanks for being with us.